Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be playing more Senua Saga Hellblade 2 on PC, running it with my overclocked MSI Vanguard RTX 5090 graphics card and Ryzen 9 9950X 3D CPU. So currently we are running a resolution of 3040 by 2160 on my 4K 144Hz display. We are running DLSS quality mode. In today's video, we're going to be testing out which DLSS super resolution mode will be the best for playing it all the time, the 5090, without having to resort to frame generation. And we are going to try 2x, 3x, and 4x multi-frame generation, which uses DLSS 4 a little bit later in the video. HDR is enabled. We have to wait 2 to 3 days for the process on YouTube. And we are using the new patch, which has a couple settings here, which max out now at very high, which includes post-processing quality, shadow quality, volumetrics, and V distance. So we're using the very high preset and a few settings here are the high settings, which is highest possible settings to go to. And we are writing the developer commentary, so we're continuing where I left off my last video. So I'm going to be quiet. You guys listen to the game developers commentary in each scene, and we'll take things there. And then when I change resolutions or DLSS quality modes, I'll mention it. Enjoy, guys.
One of the key things for kind of Hellblade is we want all of our players to finish the game and experience the entire story, because it sort of doesn't make sense in short bits. So there's a balance we try and find so that puzzles aren't overly frustrating and people don't give up and never come back to the game. And this puzzle in Chapter 4 had that kind of issue in its first few iterations. We'd overcomplicated it. People weren't understanding it. There was way too many steps involved. So I think there was a conscious effort to streamline it a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And really what we wanted to achieve here was for players to apply everything they've learned, not just in this chapter, but also in the previous chapter, and bring together all of their knowledge of the mechanics that had been introduced up until that point, just to line players up narratively with how Senua is feeling at this moment. And at the end of the puzzle, when she's crawling through that tunnel, the Furies remind her of that everything that she's been through has been leading up to this point. So instead of creating sort of a cerebral puzzle, we just wanted to test players lightly in the game mechanics, but also make sure that they used everything they've learned up to this point.
I think the Furies even say, like, this is the last one, right? So
Yeah.
we kind of give the player that knowledge that they're kind of, they're almost at the end and they'll be rewarded for sort of pushing their way through all these challenges.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a twist on the mechanics that players would have experienced up until this point, and just sort of bringing the mirror aspect of the Chapter 3 puzzles, where you sort of switch the reflection with the real world. I think the biggest challenge for us introducing a lot of these game elements is how sort of short these sections are almost, because usually you would take almost like a full game to introduce a lot of these mechanics, and then you would expand and progress on them. Whether we just didn't have that much space to do it. I think from the end of Chapter 3 to Chapter 4, or middle of Chapter 4 really, we're introducing all of these mechanics and progressing them, and then doing a final test for the player. I think that was definitely a challenge, and it meant that all of those mechanics had to be fairly simple and easy to understand. Whereas ideally we'd probably introduce them much earlier on and progress them in a more substantial way in terms of challenge.
So it looks like DLSS quality mode at 4K, averaging 100 FPS, 1% low at 68, max FPS of 119. Alright, so now I'm going to try enabling DLSS performance mode. I just want to see what kind of FPS we'll get with that setting here, and we'll continue playing some more here and try to figure out this puzzle solving. It's pretty prominent in this title with this cave section, but we'll try to get it solved here, hopefully.
Yes, the time.
And then we'll experiment with
brought it down. You made it happen. Now you just have to get to it. How's she gonna get
2x frame generation, 3x, and 4x multi-frame generation to see how everything runs and plays. And then when the developer commentary returns, I will mute the microphone so we can focus on what they're saying
She
on.
didn't know what she was doing, but now look at her. Look. She knows how to look at it. There is no way.
And hopefully we'll get this solved
She knows how to find
without too much trouble here.
her worry. She understands their work.
No, I did fully complete this game, but sometimes it's hard to remember exactly what combination you're supposed to do here to get this solved, but hopefully we'll get through here. Just a certain combination to get this solved, and then we'll get through here, hopefully, without too much of a hassle here. I think I'm kind of stuck here now. Alright, I think we're doing good. Hopefully. It's this last one that I'm not quite getting the angle here. So unless there was another one, because I did hear the thing come up again over here, so let me check real quick. Let's see if that solves it. We're almost there though. But to me it seems like there's something else I have to do at this point. Can't climb there. And yeah, with the very high setting preset, it is very heavy, and this cave scene doesn't seem to be as hard to render. But it looks like with performance mode, DLSS quality mode, we're averaging 111 FPS. And 1% low sitting at 77. Max FPS at 130. Alright, so now let me enable multi-frame generation. So let me start off with just 2x, and then we'll work our way up. So we'll start off with 2x. Reset the afterburner. And then now, as you can see, we're hitting a pretty high FPS. So let me go ahead and switch this back over to quality mode, since we do have a pretty good amount of performance here. So we'll do see what this does here. I seem like I'm where I need to be, but this last one here, I'm not getting the angle for it. Can't just walk into here, right? Yeah. It's this last one that I need to get lined up with, and then I'll have it solved, I think. But yeah, as you can see, when you use frame generation, you are going to get those 1% lows being pretty piss poor, which is an unfortunate issue with using frame generation. I'm trying to think, maybe I could reach the angle over here. It looks like, let me check real quick. Cause see, it's that one, the straight dead ahead below, lower left of the ball is what I want to hit, but it seems like I've hit it from a different angle. But I can't seem to reach it. This would be the spot right here, I would assume. This has to be it. Because that's the perfect angle right there, so let's see. Let's get this last one. And then we should be good. Sorry, I wish I...
Yes, you brought it down. You made it.
I did that earlier, but I guess for some reason I couldn't progress.
She doesn't know.
It's weird.
She's looking. You need to find a way. You will pass. You have to.
But let's see if this solves the
She was doing, but now look at her.
the puzzle here. It's a different way that I took last time.
There's no way you can fail. She knows how to find a new way. You were a warrior. She understands their world.
Before I enable it here, let me see if I could get past here. I gotta make sure I do it in the right order though, otherwise I won't be able to progress. Alright, let's try this. Oh, that wasn't good. Didn't like that. Well, it looks like with 2x frame generation, we're averaging 153 FPS, 1% low, so you got 56, max FPS 176. Now let's go ahead and enable multi-frame generation. We'll start off with 3x. Reset the afterburner. There we go, got it. Sorry about that, guys.
Ready, Senua? You are ready. We have shown them everything we are.
And again, those piss poor 1% lows is what happens when you
We
use
have nothing left.
multi-frame generation,
She
unfortunately.
can see us. All the other selves. Us. We. She is thinking in all the
Let me see if I can fix it by enabling performance mode again here.
pieces. All the fragments.
That brings it up a little bit higher.
We know all of them. All the signs. We can see them clearly. All connected. All meaningful. Yes. She remembers how it started. Almost an end. Drowning in the ocean. But
Here, like when you guys were making like the chapter 4, but as a player, when I was kind of playing it, it felt like Senua is she's going there because she wants to find something. Or it felt like she's trying to find herself, and we had this couple cinematics that she's kind of speaking to herself. So I'm just wondering, like, if that was intended in the beginning, from the beginning, like, hey, you gotta go find yourself in the caves, and then you gotta come out.
Yeah, that's true. That the like back to the labyrinth. It's like that journey inwards to finding that truth. And yeah, you have to confront yourself. She has to confront some fear that she has around fear and guilt that she has around other people that she's failed to help. She has to confront this idea that she's fragmented. And I think that by looking at those parts of herself that she doesn't like, it helps her to understand better.
Alright, so with 3x frame generation averaging 261 FPS, 1% low sync at 76, max FPS is 284. Now let's go ahead and enable 4x. Again, I'm not a huge proponent of multi-frame generation, but we'll see how it runs.
Well, everyone can have their own opinion about that. I think that they're friends. I think that they are there to guide Senua into realizing what she already has inside her. And really, it's just that, like, they're pointing out things that she maybe already knows.
Broke us. They changed us. You. They are everything.
But yeah, this scene takes a little bit of patience. I remember going through this
She can feel
when recording the last playthrough of this game, and it was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I guess this is its way of telling its story. Completing this journey.
The ones who hide. They will tell her how to defeat the
But I
giant.
do like having the developer's commentary. I think it gives you an interesting take on how some of the scenes were put together, so I do appreciate getting that further insight of how they develop these
It's never so
scenes,
simple.
the storytelling,
Is it?
the thought process. It's really
Wisdom.
interesting.
Has a price. There will always be a part of you that
It kind of reminds me of like when back in the day when you watched DVD movies
the dark
and you'd listen to the director's commentary. It's a similar thought
Okay, do you
process.
want to say what a beautiful corner is, Steve?
Yeah, well, a beautiful corner is it's a small part of the game that we use to sort of inspire ourselves, inspire the team, and take something to a polished level that we can all be like super proud of, and that we would be happy to release. It's a small piece that serves as an inspiration for the rest of the game, and something to aim for, something very high in quality that we can put everything into raising the rest of the game up to the same bar. And that's what this scene was, the leap of faith, which was also one of our trailers.
Yes. So the reason we decided to do this scene for the trailer was because the previous trailers had been quite action heavy, loud. And when I say two, I mean the announcement trailer, which was that Hai Long song, an incredible trailer. I can say that because I didn't really work on it. So it's not like I'm patting myself on the back. Incredible trailer. And then the Troll Chase was the one we did next. And those are both very action oriented. So we wanted something that would be more personal to Senua, more intimate, more quiet, more emotionally resonant. So we picked a scene from chapter 4 where she's alone with herself, her thoughts, the Furies, in a cave, and she's about to make a commitment to continuing her journey and pushing through her fear and making contact with the hidden folk.
Alright, so with 4x frame generation, 337 FPS average, 1% low sync at 74, max FPS of 399. Now let's go ahead and let's just go back to turning off frame generation. We'll just do DLSS performance.
Yeah, I love this one. This one.
Enjoy, guys.
This one I like because we really push the psychosis side on this one. Just the fractals and what's going on in the background, the environment, the effects, the lighting. It's a really, really beautiful scene.
A lot of the details of this scene, the way it's staged, that came from Bolash. And he was the one that proposed having her, having that dual Senua again, that the reflection and breaking through, as if she's breaking through that into a different world.
That's a lovely throwback to Hellblade 1 too.
Yes, it is.
It really is nice.
Yep.
That was such a key moment in that game too.
Yep. Mel's performance is beautiful here. I remember we shot that quite early in the cinematics schedule because the way we structured it was we did a lot of scenes with Mel on her own and then we brought the rest of the cast on. So this ended up being shot quite early. And so we had that data available to us when we decided to do the trailer.
I just love it. Like, it's great. Then she did such an amazing job of finding the character again so early.
Yeah. But yes, and I think through reading the script and discussing it with the team, she's also knowing where to push Senua further, you know, how she's changed, where like this is a different step on her journey. And one other thing I need to mention in the scene is the voice of the Hidden Folk making its... Is it the debut? I think you've heard whispers before, but this is maybe the first time they speak to Senua. And that is, of course, the man of 1,000 voices and faces and animation capture, Matt Mordak, who's in maybe every single chapter of this game in various ways. He did an incredible job with the Hidden Folk. It's just so... it has authority and it sounds strange, but also slightly scary, but also... can be friendly. I mean, it's perfect for the Hidden Folk.
Fighting.
Alright, we're going to finish off this video just to show you how heavy this very high preset is. So we're just going to turn back to native 4K, so no DLSS upscaling. And we're just going to finish off the video here. Native resolution. Enjoy, guys.
Somewhere to carve out home.
And it's just to show you how heavy this game is to run with the very high preset that's now available. It's a very heavier graphics options to run with those extra details. So finish it off here, and
so we got some
thanks for
impulse
watching.
responses, which are basically
we used to simulate acoustics.
yeah. So you can capture the essence of a reverb. The way that we did it is we blew up some balloons and popped them in a reverberant space, and then you can take that and turn it into an impulse response, put it into a convolution reverb, and basically make a sound like it's in that space. And Iceland has lots of really interesting acoustics. I remember there was one bit where there were these tiny little caves. I mean, they weren't really caves, they were sort of concave rocks. And we were popping balloons and Pablo was shouting into them, and we were capturing that as well.
Yeah.
And
But
that sounded great.
It was very surprising for me. The caves, the big caves in Iceland, they don't sound at all echoey at all, because it's all volcanic.
They're very
rocks.
porous.
Yeah, so they
and
absorb.
yeah.
So I remember the first time I popped a balloon there, expecting like a massive river, and it was like a pop.
Yeah.
That's
We had it a couple times. We were in one that they were amazing. Do you remember this amazing cave? They
Yeah.
had like holes, and they were like a snow there in the holes. And we were like, yeah, this is gonna reverberate a lot. I mean, we couldn't record regardless because there was a lot of people, but like it was dead silent. Like there was no reverb at all.
yeah, which is why we kind of fake it in the game,
Yeah.
because although
That's the more exciting
it
thing
should
to
be
do.
realistic to have no reverb at all because of the type of cave,
It just feels wrong.
But
it just feels wrong.
being there in person feels wrong. Like
Yeah, it does.
feels
Yeah, yeah.
completely wrong. Like this is not right, you know?
Well, at one point, when we were in the volcanic tunnel, they turned the lights off, and aside from the rustling of clothing, it felt a bit like a sensory deprivation chamber because there was no reverb at all.
Yeah, just some dripping.
Yeah,
Very
dry dripping.
dry dripping, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna use it. So we we recreated from other IRs, the cave reverbs and all.
It was amazing when we went with Ailung to this ice cave, which was full of stalagmites and stalactites made of ice, obviously. That water was dripping on the stalagmites, and it was resonating, and basically the cave was singing. So you could hear like resonating all the ice with different tunes. So all around you it was like dun, 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 dun,
Different
dun.
tones in it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was amazing. And then Chris from Heilung started to play some of those stalagmites, and we eventually made a song. Well, David and Heilung eventually made a song out of that. Yeah, it was super cool.
I will give myself to you, Askia.
Again, very interesting take about the different environments they worked in. So that's really cool to hear the story about the Iceland caves. Kind of absorbing all the sound, so it made the sound recordings different from what they expected. So pretty cool. But looks like 4K native averaging 59 FPS, 1% low at 45, max FPS at 72.
Looking at cave networks, so I found originally there's a cave in north of England called Mother Shipton's, and it's where people hang like possessions. It's like a bit of a shrine, and people hang possessions in there.
Alright, we're going to go back to setting DLSS quality mode, and then we'll get ready to wrap up the video here, since I don't want to make this video too long. So we'll go back to DLSS quality mode.
And
Reset the
it petrifies. It turns to like, the water runs over it, and there's a lot of like calciums in water, and it ends up petrifying these like inanimate objects. People use like, put teddy bears in there, items of clothing, and things like that. So that was the kind of feel for those guys. Like these are the lost souls, like the people who have just been forgotten about. Coming from cave networks, so we have that same principle, like following the water and calcification running over their faces, blinded, and when we were trying to make the actual look of them, it was quite difficult to like get the texture of the skin correct, like what that might look like if it's been under those conditions. So what we ended up doing was taking a mannequin and applying, it was sort of like a concrete mixed with like a glue, so it's kind of like a little bit flexible and can move around, and we put it over a mannequin, a life-size mannequin, so we could then let it scan, and what that gave us is this nice textural detail that matched what the cave network looked like. So we're getting that on the character, and then from there we use those details upon that scan to like create brushes and project things onto a human body. Which you worked on, didn't you? You worked on the
because the mannequin has like the proportions wrong. Like we have to do some anatomy changes in it, because we just use the skin for more for the textures and all that, right?
Yeah.
And then we wanted this feeling of being like a person underneath it. So the petrification on the top, we match this texture, look like it's dripping, and as Dan said, like with the reference of that place.
Why they were wrong? The proportion?
It's because it's a mannequin, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like human proportion. It's just like a super simple mannequin.
Yeah. So it gave us the
your muscles and all that, the anatomy, it feels wrong.
Yeah. We have the size of it.
Okay.
Physically, so you can get a scan that can match up in terms of like realistic scale for the dirt and the concrete application that you're doing.
I remember as well we were looking for nails, and we saw some nasty diseases on fingers and all that, because they dig and attack with the nails, right? So we did like some long nails and very nasty stuff.
Yeah, like fungal.
I do remember that I went when I was going to check the like the concept for the cave droger. I ended up with some horrible hand diseases, and I was like, what the hell is that?
We researched some pretty awful stuff, like what was the other one? Like necrosis, a lot of necrosis.
Yeah.
So like the sort of like fissures that you get in the human body, like what does the petrified water do to that as it heals around it and all merges in? So it's all in there. I know you see them in the dark a lot, but when the light picks it up, when you get a bit of rim light or something, you can see all the details are really good.
You see how small you are. You see how the pitiless world stamps you down. You are nothing.
Yeah, I was really fighting my way through that
You
scene,
can
guys.
start with a question,
Yes?
like why a ritual?
Well, that is a good question, David. So we wanted for Senua to be able to combat the giants in a way that didn't involve just killing them, simply killing them or fighting against them with a sword. We wanted there to be a deeper resolution. So we kind of came up with the idea that instead of defeating them, she'd have to understand them. And a little kind of metaphor for understanding is this idea of knowing someone's real name, knowing their name, that gives you access to some kind of deeper truth about them. And that the rule of names is something that's really common in folklore across the world. If you just think of something like Rumpelstiltskin, for instance, where the name is the key to defeating the creature, we decided to go with that. But we wanted, obviously, to make this something that the player could engage with, something interactive. So we thought, well, there's this idea that Senua is accessing a kind of magic in the lands with the help of Fargrimmer and the hidden folk. And so why don't we make kind of this a ritual? So she'll have to go through something herself, which in some way mirrors what the giants have had to go through, and that can make her connect with them, and the name will be the key.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you did enjoy the video, do give this video a like. If you want to see more content like this, more RTX 5090 benchmarks on my Ryzen 9 9950X DCP, feel free to subscribe. Again, that brings you Hellblade 2 on PC. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Specific emotion and going through it.
I'll let this scene wrap up and then we'll end the video.
I think is rage and anger, and which is at the core of what Il Toiga represents.
It looks like 4K DLSS quality to average 85 FPS, 1% losing at 50.
In a very specific way, through
max
audio in a very
FPS
specific
129.
way, and in the narrative. And maybe before we go into the visuals or audio, you can explain a bit more the character itself, Lara, like Il Toiga, how.
Yes, so Il Toiga, we connected.
I'm going to wrap it up here, guys.
The
Thanks
rage
for
of
watching.
the earth. So
Peace out.